Are you guys ready to see one of the coolest sneakers out right now? And I mean that both literally, as in they'll keep your feet cool, and they're dope. Well, of course, today we're gonna talk about them. And also, I hope you're ready to see one of the most basic sneaker boxes ever, because this is it right here. It says N plastic waste on the top of the box. Of course, that is in a globe logo. It's all over gray, and you can literally see like the printing on it. Basic box, but the sneaker is anything but basic. Let's pull it open and take a look at the crispy, clean, cool Ultraboost Climacool. So here we go, all too familiar but super different at the same time. And I think for the first time in a while, Adidas made some really practical and cool changes to the sneaker, and not just, throwing a wacky color on the Ultraboost and calling it a day. It almost seems like ever since the original hype of the Ultraboost model, Adidas has kind of been chasing it and trying to put collaborations and all these different things on the Ultraboost itself, instead of just focusing on the really solid sneaker that they have and improving upon it. Either way, it does seem like the mission and the purpose of this Ultraboost model is very, very clear. Like, I really liked the original Ultraboost. That was one I bought and wore to the ground. I think like the only other Ultraboost that kind of got me back interested in the sneaker itself was the Ultraboost 21. A huge upgrade to the sneaker, a lot more comfortable, a whole new knit material. And ever since the Ultraboost 21s, there hasn't been anything that really pulled me back in. I've just still been rocking my 21s, of course, until this sneaker showed up. It is finally one that I felt like I had to grab, because it's not only interesting, but once you get it in hand, and of course once you finish this video, you'll find out there's a lot of really interesting changes they've made that almost make it better. So first off, the name of these is pretty weird. They call this the Ultraboost CC_2. Obviously that's for Climacool, no idea what the underscore is, and 2 meaning version 2. And I think the first thing that drew me to this pair of sneakers was just the new look that they gave it. I just think this looks incredibly cool and really different. I think the new knit material looks seriously cool, with all of the holes and the grooves and the way that it kind of looks like an alien to some degree. And of course they kept the original Ultraboost shape, which is almost timeless at this point. It just still looks super good. I think one of the cooler things about this sneaker is the fact that they managed to take a lot of the original elements from that older first generation Ultraboost and apply it to this sneaker, but at the same time still make it look super fresh and cool. Now, it's not all just looks on this pair of sneakers, thankfully. There are actually a lot of practical elements which do improve this sneaker in a bunch of different ways, so let's talk about that. For starters, this is a new knit that they've used on this sneaker, at least from the Ultraboost that I've had and that I've seen. It is incredibly stretchy. You stick your fingers in there and it's just super thin. In fact, the holes that you see in the toe box really remind me of the Yeezy 380 because they're quite large and they're circular. I do think that the holes were strategically placed. I think that's a perfect place to have them, so when you're walking along, you get that fresh breeze flowing into the sneaker to keep your feet cool. They also added this fused rubber material on the toe box to obviously keep the shape of the shoe and add a lot of durability. I mean, the knit itself just seems a lot more complex than some of the other knit materials that we've seen on the Ultraboost. I'm not entirely sure if it technically is, but it just looks and appears a lot more technical. I mean, look at all of the different patterns and waves that it moves in. It kind of reminds me of a Yeezy 350 and how complex that knit pattern is. It kind of starts at a traditional knit, which you're used to seeing, and then suddenly fades into this, I guess, midfoot portion, which is all this plastic mesh material, which just makes it look like an alien sneaker. So this material is something that we've seen Adidas use on a lot of their different sneakers. It is a collaboration with Parley of the Oceans, of course, to incorporate recycled ocean plastics into the actual knit itself. Not only looks really cool, but it actually adds some practicality to the sneaker. I mean, sometimes when they say that there's recycled ocean plastics in the sneaker, you cannot even tell. It's just woven into the knit, and it's something that looks exactly the same as any other Ultraboost. So on here, this plastic material actually adds a lot more structure and durability to the knit itself, as it's a lot more firmer, less stretchy, so it's going to hold that shape a lot better. Not only that, but I think it's going to add a decent amount of breathability to that midfoot section, because again, this plastic is quite open and you can see there's more gaps than you would imagine on a regular knit. Now, just above the laces on this kind of tongue piece, or whatever you want to call it, you have the Climacool logo with this little bubble, which is very satisfying to press, but I think for the most part it's just a interesting design choice and not really anything practical. I mean, maybe it would remind you of like Reebok pumps, but yeah, it's definitely nice to squish around. And that's pretty much the main differences with this sneaker. Other than that, it pretty much replicates a older pair of Ultraboost. It has the same plastic heel counter, the same full-length boost in the exact same mold. Of course, you have the continental traction pattern and the torsion system right in the center. So how do these fit and feel on foot? Well, the main thing I do want to mention is, again, anybody who has owned one of the older or original generation Ultraboost, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the kind of entry point or the piece that surrounds your foot is very tight. So all of this material right here doesn't have a lot of stretch to it. Unlike the newer versions of the Ultraboost, this kind of sticks down and holds your foot in place. Now, some people do recommend going a half size up just to make that feel a little bit looser. However, I went with my true to size and I feel like it is a little bit tight, but it's definitely not uncomfortable. And of course, as we know by now, a full length boost mixed with a super stretchy knit upper is a match made in heaven. These are extremely comfortable on foot. I think the improved, more stretchy knit that you have on the toe box just allows some extra freedom for your feet to move around, and I think overall this is one of the most comfortable, breathable, perfect, ready for summer sneakers that is out there. I will say that these do retail for, unfortunately, £160, which is pretty expensive. I'd imagine they'd potentially go on sale in a little bit, because a lot of Ultraboost sneakers do end up going on sale. So maybe if this wasn't a must right now, you could wait around and see if they do pop up. But if you did want to spend that money, I do think you'd be pretty happy with this sneaker, because you could wear it all day. It's a good shoe not only for running performance, but also just as a daily sneaker, wearing them to the gym, wearing them out and about. It also looks really cool. Either way, I think it's a solid one, but of course, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. But that's been it, guys. That pretty much wraps it up. Thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one, but until then.